This morning, financial markets will be closely watched around the world. On Monday, the closing markets were a lot unsettling, with the Dow and the S&P 500 having their worst day since 2022. So what does it mean for your retirement fund, for your savings, or the next big purchase you had in mind? Let's shed a little light on this morning. We're joined by Dewey Steffen, the CEO of Great Lakes Wealth. And Dewey, great to have you with us this morning. Really appreciate it. Let me start with the why. What led up to this worldwide sell-off?
Well, good morning. Pleasure to be here. And really, it comes down to one simple thing. Wall Street hates uncertainty. And we started to get some uncertainty last week with the Federal Reserve. It cascaded into Friday with a jobs report here in the United States and over the weekend in Japan. And that ended up with what we saw yesterday.
I think a lot of people, as I mentioned, looking to today. Do you expect a rebound? I haven't seen the futures yet, but what do you think happens today and the rest of the week?
Well, good question. We don't want to be such short-term speculators, but the futures are up a little bit this morning, and we'll see what happens. There's a lot of news that's still coming out. There's some economic data that actually comes out. And there's a few other things going on that we'll have to pay attention to.
Yeah, we're looking at the futures right now, and I do see a lot of green. Usually when we see a massive loss, it usually does find a way to rebound at least a little bit. When it comes to average investors, if they were dumb enough like me to actually check their 401k yesterday, I know the advice usually is don't do anything, but is there something you should do in this situation?
Well, you should absolutely be paying attention and be aware of your situation. Take a look at your accounts. We have had a very substantial run up this year in the markets through last week, and we've just given a little bit back. So I would imagine most of the viewers today that are invested are actually still up on the year. So use this as a time to rebalance, check your situation, and make sure you are in what you should be in.
You had mentioned some of the news about last week, and I know we heard when we were fighting the inflation, the plan was to balance things out so America doesn't fall into a recession. Well, now yesterday with this loss, people became fearful that a recession is very much on the horizon. Do you expect that could be coming? Is it more likely now after what we saw?
Well, at Great Lakes Wealth, we believe we're going to sidestep a recession, maybe barely. But even if we're wrong and things happen where we go into a recession, we think it'll be a very mild recession. We think this is normal. This is standard. This is part of the economic and business cycle. So again, be prepared, be aware of what's happening with your situation, but it's certainly not the end of the world.
Yeah, and you kind of touched on this, but for the average investor who's terrified right now, what's best advice?
Again, pay attention, be aware, and take it patient and don't panic.
Patience. Don't panic, which is easier said than done. But Dewey Steffen, we appreciate your insight very much. Thanks for coming on and waking up a little bit early with us today.
Absolutely, my pleasure.